All right, hey guys, it's Kevin again, and this is going to be for the long-awaited, and I mean long-awaited review for the second installment of the Harry Potter series, continuing our little review series we're doing. Of course, we're going to be reviewing Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. But before we start off, let me just introduce my guest. All of you hate him, but he continues to be on this channel regardless, even though he doesn't do YouTube videos anymore. Here he is, Auburn Wanderer.
Hello. Yes, this took a long time because of me. I was really lazy to watch this movie.
You'll find out why soon.
Wait, what?
I said they'll find out why soon.
Yeah, and I ended up watching it last night. Finally, we're also reviewing the theatrical cut in case anyone's wondering.
Yeah.
Good to be back on Kevin Falk's channel.
Woo!
Yeah, woo.
All right, so you guys will see why he's kind of lacking motivation to review this one, but right off the bat, Chamber of Secrets, I will admit, when I was younger, this was one of the ones I did not watch as much. I watched the first one way more than I did the second one. I did remember the second one, but not as much as I did the first one. Like, the first one, I really got that nostalgic feeling, and I got that somewhat with the second one, but not really. Watching it back, is this a great movie? No, it's definitely far from a great movie. It's not nearly as good, I think, as the first one. The first one did a much better job with the world building and things like that. But to me, at least, I do still think this is a decent follow-up. I do still think this is a good film overall. There's enough good things in here for me to enjoy it. Now we get to the other side of the spectrum here, and you'll see how Caden feels about this film.
Oh, yes. All right. So I might as well just go for it, my boy. Yes. So Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. What a film. This is not a good movie in my opinion. It's quite bad at points. To say the least, this is super disappointing when you compare it to the first one, Philosopher's Stone, which I think is a genuinely really good movie that's really fun and has a lot of charm to it, and there's like actual stakes in that movie, unlike this one. This movie's not that good in my opinion. I have a lot of issues with it. But you know what? I'm not gonna ramble on like I did last time since Kevin gave me shit for it. So
I didn't give you shit. I just said you could have like.
Yes, you did, bitch. Now you.
I said that you said a little. You could have like been a little bit more like spread out throughout the review, but.
Okay, you want something, bitch? Okay, fuck you. Okay.
You know what? Okay, let's just get into this film because, of course, if you don't know what this one is about, Harry, he's returning to Hogwarts and things like that. And basically, there is this chamber that ends up being opened, and everyone is worried, because the Chamber of Secrets has to do with Voldemort, and everyone's really worried about it. And that's really all you have to say about this film. But I'm just going to get started off the bat. Like I said, I do enjoy this one. Acting right off the bat, I think is still really great here. Daniel Radcliffe continues to show why he's so great as the Harry Potter character. He, you really do see him. He's a little bit more confident in this one because, he's more aware of his surroundings and things like that. And you start to see he's a little bit more out of touch with the mortal world. He launched back to Hogwarts. That really is his home, and I really like seeing him in this film. I will admit he doesn't really go through a lot. Like, he doesn't really have that much of an arc in this movie, but I do think he did do a really great job here. Same with Rupert Grint, same with Emma Watson. They are both really good in this movie. The three of them continue to work very well together. I really did enjoy their acting in the film. Everyone else I think is really great. Kenneth Branagh, I really liked here. Robbie Coltrane. Everyone's just really good. Someone I do want to highlight, though, is Jason Isaacs. Of course, he plays Lucius Malfoy, and this guy is, holy shit. I mean, we thought Malfoy was bad. We thought Draco was bad. That's nothing compared to his father. His father is so vile and just so awful, and you're so scared of this guy, but at the same time, you're so repulsed by him. I think he really had that nice balance in there. He's very good in this film. I thought he was very well casted. Whoever voiced Dobby, I thought also was really good. Dobby is definitely one of the best things about this film for sure. Again, Caden, I know there's not a lot of things you like about this film, but do you want to say anything about the acting?
What the fuck's his name? The dad of the fucking kid. I don't know. I forget.
Jason Isaacs?
Yeah. What was his character's name?
Lucius Malfoy?
Yeah, Lucius Malfoy.
Lucius Malfoy?
Yeah. That's where, like, my biggest problem comes in. There's no tension in this movie at all, because, like, my biggest problem with this movie is, look, it's a franchise, it's a sequel, so I'm compared to the first one. In the first one, there's actual stakes, because actual shit happens in that film. Like, you can tell how, I guess, like, it's, like, educated, Harry and, you know, Ron and Hermione are, and, like, the surrounding that they're in and the situation they're going through, and actual shit happens to them, and in this one, everything just seems like like forced. Like the tension's forced, and like all like the shit that happens is just like so like crazy and intense. And then boom, all out of the blue, they get saved conveniently somehow, and there's all the tension goes away because you know that they're gonna get out of this easily. And the fucking with Lucius Malfoy, he is like one of the most forced fucking like creepy fucking guys or menacing guys that I've seen in a children's film before. This is because this is like the last kids film I'd say we want to talk about. Harry Potter was like the first two kids films. The rest of them are kind of like, you know, like preteen adult, you know, teen films.
Yeah.
And like he's just so freaking like just like forced menacing wise. Like Chris Columbus and the writers did not let this in your character speak for itself. They force tension with this guy down your throat. They make you feel like it's going to be this big, monstrous thing, and he barely does shit throughout the film until the final 10 minutes, and it's just ridiculous. It's awful. It's awful directing and writing. It just really is, in my opinion, and that's like my biggest issue with the main villain, which I won't spoil. And everyone says this movie, fucking this what the fuck, the kid who was there like 50 years ago, who
Tom Riddle.
Yeah, who I guess is basically Voldemort, right?
Yeah, he's what Voldemort turns out to like. That was Voldemort before he turned evil.
Yeah. I already forgot this movie. That whole thing could have been really cool. There is good substance behind this film. It's just that Chris Columbus is an awful director, so he really cannot do it that well. He really cannot flesh it out, and he just has to force it down. Like the final battle scene is like terrible in my opinion. And then the stuff like the book and the stabbing was just like, it was just so over the top, and it just did not fit the tone of the film. It feels like it comes out of nowhere, and it wasn't like, it didn't feel like rewarding at all, or like a success for the character of Harry Potter. Like Harry Potter doesn't really go much in this film. Like in the first one, I feel like
he doesn't.
Yeah, I feel like in the first film he goes through so much, and in this one I feel like he just kind of doesn't like the sense of bravery there is not as there as much. It just feels kind of like by the numbers, and you know that's why this is my least favorite Harry Potter film. It always has been. I don't think it's a good film. Because of what, and you asked me about the acting. I mean, most of it's mediocre. I mean, Daniel Radcliffe is not nearly as good in this. You know, supporting cast and stuff is very, very average. I mean, the acting in Harry Potter is always average, except for Ralph Fiennes' Voldemort, but we'll get to that in a few films, obviously. But, I mean...
His name is Ray Fiennes, but okay.
Goddamn Ray Fiennes! Fuck! Now, yes, I don't know. Let's talk about the next thing, because I've been rambling on.
All right, so going into the directing, I think you've already expressed your distaste for Chris Columbus in general.
Not a good director, Kevin.
I do think that he is a good director. I think he has directed some really good films like Home Alone and things like that. The directing in this film, yes, it does feel a little bit more disjointed. It's a little bit dark. It's a little bit darker than the first one. And some of that darkness, for me, it does work. Some of it doesn't. What works for me is like the mythology of the Chamber of Secrets, I think is a very interesting concept. I think there's a lot you can really do with that. And I do think there is some really great comedy as well. There's a lot of fun moments sprinkled throughout this film that I very much did enjoy. And I do think that, it's pretty obvious why he had to leave after this movie, because his more whimsical, childlike tone just does not work for what this series ends up becoming in the next movie. So I am glad that he left, but I don't think that he is a quote unquote bad director. I just think his directing in this movie, it's not nearly as strong as his first iteration. That's also a complaint with Home Alone 2. I think Home Alone 2 is very much a retread of the first one. I wouldn't say everything in this film is a retread, but some things are. There definitely is some things that feels a bit rinse and repeat, kind of like the first one. Getting into the writing, though, I will admit, the film does feel a little bit messy. That definitely for a while doesn't feel like it has a lot of places to go. It takes a long time for the central plot to start, but there is some stuff I really did enjoy in this movie. For example, we meet more of Ron's family in this movie, and I did like getting into that. I like seeing the sort of beginnings of the relationship between Harry and Ginny, for example, especially because we know what's going to happen to them in the last few movies. I think that's very well set up. Just little moments here and there where you can see Jenny sort of, crush on Harry. It's very innocent and it's very cute. I really do enjoy that stuff overall. Of course, there's classic scenes like the Howler. That stuff is just great. I love that scene. The flying car. There's a lot of great stuff when it does come to the writing and things like that. We get more into, like I said, Malfoy's family, which I very much did enjoy. And Hagrid, I think, also goes through a lot in this movie because he's accused of being the one who, opened the chamber and things like that. And I definitely did enjoy that. But I will admit, there is definitely a lot of forced tension and things like that. And I do think that is a little bit of a detriment to this film overall. My biggest problem with the movie is that it's very long. It's very long, and it really did not need to be. The first one was long, but in a way where it felt like it needed to be as long as it was. It felt like it was telling a very grand story. This one, it does drag quite a lot, especially in the second act of the movie. There are definitely some dry spots here and there, and going into the whole thing of lacking tension, I will agree with you because we know this is the second movie in the franchise. We know nothing that altering is going to happen to these characters. We know they're going to go through some progression, but it's only the second film of, an 8-film franchise. They're not going to go through that much shit just yet. So I do think that is a legit complaint. Did it bother me as much as you? No, I think there definitely is some good stuff in this movie. There is a lot of stuff that I definitely did really enjoy. The cinematography still continues to really impress me. I think just the look of Hogwarts and things like that is great. The look of the chamber is just astounding. I mean, aesthetically, these films are pretty fantastic. And I think we can say that for all the films in this franchise. Very well done. Something else I really love, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, is Dobby. Dobby is just such a fun character. He starts off, he's a little bit annoying, but as the movie goes on, you start to realize, okay, this is what he's talking about. You can't come back to Hogwarts. There's a darkness lurking there. I think they do set that up pretty well. And the eventual reveal that he's kind of like a slave for Lucius Malfoy, I think that is a good reveal. I do like where that ends up going. You really do feel bad for Dobby in that sense, and you can see why he didn't want Harry to come back. He didn't want Harry to see his true, who he really was and things like that. And I think that was definitely very well set up. But again, I will agree with you. Not as much happens. It is a film that has kind of left my mind after watching. That's why I don't really have as much to say as I did with the first film. It's still a good film overall. It's still a film I did very much enjoy, but it definitely is not the most memorable in the franchise. But either way, I'm going to just go to you because I know you definitely have a lot to say.
Talking about the writing, this film does not need to be as long as it is. There's just random fucking moments that should not be the first of all. The random ass Quidditch scene. What was the
that was pretty random.
What was the point of that?
I think it's just because it's in a Harry the first one, I think people would complain if it wasn't in this movie, but that's the thing. A lot of things in this film feel like they're there because they need to be there. It doesn't really naturally fit into the tone of the film. It's oh, we had Quidditch in the first movie. People were going to complain. We got to put that in here. I think that's the main reason why it's in the film.
To me, it's only in the film just so the writers can just be okay, we need to keep hitting the nail on the head. That Draco Malfoy is an awful kid. He hates Harry Potter. more than fucking Dumbledore and all this shit. And it's just hitting like it's just like nails in a chalkboard at this point. We get it. Stop annoying us about it. And the Quidditch scene is like 5 or like 6. I don't even know how long it is at this point. But it's a boring scene. It feels so rushed, and it only focuses on this one element of the game, which is like Harry versus Malfoy, and it just does not work. It's just so boring, and it's just so unexciting. Like the first film, it really sets up that the whole battle really well between Gryffindor and Slytherin, and it works out just really, really well. But in this one, it just feels so forced, and there's these like little like random like moments that just could be cut out completely. Like this film should honestly be like the same length as the Philosopher's Stone, or maybe even like a few minutes shorter. Honestly, like I really feel like this film should just be more concise because it is a mess. This is a mess of the film. So many weird edits happen, and also, can we just talk about the film just like random, like it be just begins with like no type of setup. It's just like my friends haven't been sending me mail. My family's still being shitty to me, and then all of a sudden, fucking Dobby comes out of nowhere and it's like, you can't go back to Hogwarts, and it's just like, it just feels all so random, and it's just so just poorly set up, and just it's so unfortunate because I feel like the story behind this film could be very interesting. It is, but like it's executed so poorly and it's written so bad, and this film is just a mess overall. And oh my god, can we? I just first okay. One more thing is that the action scenes in this film, I talked about this before, the action scenes in this film are fucking terrible. With the Quidditch scene, the ending battle, and oh my god, the part with the fucking spiders. It could just don't put that in the movie. It does not need to be in the movie. It's completely fucking random. You can have the part the spiders, but you don't. The part where like they want to like eat the fucking Ron and Harry. You could take that out completely. It did not need to be in there. Okay, it just did not. And have it Ron's family's like car come back to save them at the last second, and which it was just completely like a slap to the audience because they did set it up as this really like a hypertension moment, and it just fails fucking miserably. Just so much stuff in this film was just a mess. It's unnecessary gags and stuff. And look, some people maybe like Timmy Kane this as a kid's film. I don't give a shit. It's Harry Potter. It's a smart, clever world. And it should be treated with way more respect than it is in this film. It's very unfortunate. I do not like this film. And I've gone into a lot of things for that. And I mean, one thing you also touched on is Dobby. Dobby in this film is just he's just a mess. Like he does not have enough time to really become as fleshed out as he should be. And we haven't got to part 1 yet of Deathly Hallows where he's in that, and he's much better in that. But it's just in this film he just feels kind of like just kind of like an scapegoat. You know what I mean? Especially at the end.
Yeah.
Where was it Lucas, whatever's fucking Malfoy goes to like kill Harry Potter or whatever, and like it's just like 10 seconds of like dun 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 dun, and he's like, I'm gonna be a magic elf, dude. It's just like with the sock. It's just this one's a mess. I mean, simply put.
All right, so I think we've really gone into pretty much everything when it comes to this film. Like I said, the pacing, definitely, I will agree with you. There are some things that do very much feel like they need to be in here. It doesn't really feel like it has a place in the film. Like, we had Quidditch scene in the first movie. Let's put that in here. We had a really great scene. We had a really great introduction with Harry and his aunt and uncle. Let's put that in here. There are definitely quite a few things that do feel like a retread. But I really love these characters. I love this world. So is it really that much? Does it really affect my judgment? That is it really that much of a hindrance to my overall feelings on this film? No, I really love this world. I think the most boring thing could happen. It would still be at least somewhat interesting. I think these actors are still really great. I think that there's still some really great sequences and things like that. There's a lot of really fun scenes in this movie. Just as a whole, it's not nearly as memorable as the first iteration. Thankfully, after this, pretty much every film gets better and better within the franchise. But other than that, like I said, it's just not a very memorable film. So I think we're just going to get right into the rating because, like I said, I really don't have much to say. I saw this film like 3 weeks ago, and it's basically left my head. It's just not a very memorable movie overall. I was originally like a B with this movie, but really thinking about it, this is not a very memorable film at all. There's really not a lot to, remember about. There's things I definitely do enjoy about it, but the things I enjoy about it are really kind of harmless sequences. I don't really remember a lot of the things that are really big and are really, you know, important to the story overall. I think they set up, you know, Tom Riddle and how he turned evil and things like that. But I think other films in this franchise do that a lot better. I think that's why I love that so much, because that story is so great. It's just not as good in this film. So overall, when it does come down to it, I am going to give Harry and the Potter, Harry Potter and Chamber of Secrets overall a C+. Like I said, not for at least for me, this is not a bad movie. There's still things I definitely do enjoy about it, but just in general, it is definitely the most disposable and forgettable Harry Potter film. It's trying to take itself more seriously. It's trying to deepen the layers, but it's simply too early in the series for any sort of life-altering, you know, sort of plot points or anything really that, you know, that much damage to the overall world. It's simply just too early for it, and it's biting off a lot more than it can chew. It's definitely way too long. It does have some things I enjoy about it, but just in general, it's very much left my head, and you know, really, it just made me want to watch the other films, to be honest.
Yeah. Overall, I don't think this is a good film. I think it's a mess overall. To me, I'm so happy Chris Columbus did not come back to this franchise, because to me, he tries way too hard in this film to force like a new sense of darkness and tension, and it fails miserably. It should just speak for itself. It just feels so natural, like the first one, like the charm and the fun and the adventure, and the really like and some high stakes and just the drama of everything happening, and just the overall grandness of the world. It's just not there in this. It's like it's just I feel like it's trying to be something different, but to me it does not work. And then like at other points it tries to be like the first film, and oh my god. And then it's just so ridiculous. You have all this stuff, and also, oh my god, I forgot to mention, what the fuck was up with that fucking subplot of like the girl that was killed in like the lavatory?
I kind of like that. What was it, Moaning Myrtle or whatever. I kind of like that.
I don't know, I understand its purpose, but I feel like they could have just figured out ways to.
There's a lot of kid stuff for sure. They definitely went a little bit more with the kiddie type vibe that they were going for. The first one had that, but this one, it's a little bit more silly, like Hermione turning into a cat and things like that.
Oh my god, that was
a lot of really silly stuff that I personally didn't mind, but
I mean, I don't know. It's just so much of this film.
that was a fucking game center.
This film was just simply a mess. I mean, let me look at my notes. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just super fucking just conventional when you compare it to the first film.
Yeah.
It's just so dark, and it doesn't need to be.
Whoops.
Yeah, man. This film is a fucking mess. I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 10. Yeah, I don't like this movie. Enough said. I can't wait to watch Prisoner Massacre.
Either way, guys, that's it for this video. Sorry if this one was a little bit more brief. We just really didn't have much to say. Like I said, it's a very forgettable film. I watched it 3 weeks ago. It's basically left my head. But either way, guys, before I do close this out, I've meant to say this for many videos now. I recently reached 6,000 subscribers. That is incredible to me right off the bat. That is incredibly humbling. I am humbled that you guys continue to watch my content. I never thought I would get this far. Yes, I have recognized it. I know I haven't really done much about it, but I've really contemplated what to do about it. I was originally going to do a thing where like I watch my old videos and things like that, but I figured I don't really want, I watch my old videos like all the time with my friends as like a joke. So I feel like if I were to rewatch my old videos, it just wouldn't really be anything that big because I watch them all the time. I wouldn't really have that big of a reaction. So instead, I'm just going to do another Q&A. I really enjoyed doing it for the 5,000, so I will be doing it again on Wednesday. This motherfucker right here will probably be there along with a bunch of other of my... What? Yeah.
I can't join.
Why?
Because I have school.
Oh, you're still in school?
Yes, last week.
Oh, shit. Okay, that's great.
I gotta fucking reschedule it. Great job, Kevin. Kevin, you don't tell me about anything else. You schedule, this has nothing to do with this. Is some personal shit right here, guys, that you guys need to know about. You have been planning so much fucking shit and you never tell me. It's annoying the fuck out of me.
Well, I thought I could have. I said something about it in the group. I guess you just didn't see it.
That doesn't.
All right. Well, fine. It'll be next Wednesday.
Yay!
Definitely look forward to that, guys. Very excited. For that, of course.
Wait,
that's it for this video.
Wait, Kevin!
What?
I can't do next Wednesday.
Why?
That's why I'm seeing Rocky Horror.
Fuck.
Wait. What time are you doing it?
Like 10 o'clock.
Oh, that's never mind.
Okay. All right. So it'll be next Wednesday. Definitely look forward to that, guys. But either way, guys, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. You can check, Kane, anything else you want to say, like where they can check you out, anything like that?
YouTube for music and my Peter Rabbit video, and Letterboxd where I'm on there every fucking day and I watch all my shit. I have everything I've watched this year log. Check that out. I write a lot of stuff on there, and yeah, so yeah, boy.
All right. Either way, guys, there for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you guys in my next video, and we'll see you guys for that. Okay. Bye. Peace.